If you're doing push-pull legs but you're not seeing growth, here's how to properly program it in order to maximize your results. This video will also cover all the different training variations you can use. So for our push day, which covers chest, shoulders, and triceps, we can start with an incline press variant. Now I prefer doing this with a neutral grip as it does shoulder flexion, allowing for more upper pec bias. If you're someone who uses dumbbells or a bench, make sure your elbows are tucked in. But if you don't prefer pressing at all, you can do a low to high cable fly. And now for our second movement, we can do a pec deck fly in order to effectively hit the sternal head, aka the mid to lower pec. And now for shoulders, we can do a frontal plane shoulder press. And when doing this, I try not to drop below 90 degrees because I don't want my side delts to get too involved. And then for the side delts, I advise doing a lateral raise. And I recommend doing this using a machine or cables. And then for those of you who want to directly isolate your rear delts, I will have it included on the pull deck. And for the triceps, specifically the long head, we can do a tricep extension. And yes, with any unilateral exercise, make sure you're resting 2 to 3 minutes between each side. And finally, to finish off our push day, we can either do dips or a JM press in order to effectively hit the medial and lateral head. And to start off our pull day, which is back and biceps, we can start with a transverse plane row with your elbows flaring out at a 45 to 90 degree angle. A seated chest supported row, T-bar, or Kelso shrugs are all great options. And take note, your rear delts will get sufficient stimulus through a transverse plane row, but if you want to directly isolate them and you can effectively recover, you can do a unilateral rear delt fly using a pec deck machine. Now, in order to emphasize the lower region of the lats, we need a frontal plane movement such as a frontal plane Keenan flap or a standard wide grip lat pull down. Make sure form is standardized when doing this and you're not retracting your scapula. And now to finish off our lats, in order to emphasize the upper region, we can do a sagittal plane flap or row. If you choose to do a row, make sure your arms are in a neutral position, driving towards the side of your body. When it comes to biceps, all you really need is a standard preacher curl with a descending resistance profile. If you want to, you can add in a hammer curl variation, such as a neutral grip preacher curl or a top half hammer curl. But no, you do not need 5 different exercises in order to effectively hit the biceps. And now for legs, we can start our session with a leg extension. And I always aim to start my sessions with this, as there is more rec fem emphasis, which won't as effectively get hit through something like a squat pattern. Overall, it is just the superior exercise. Then we can add a squat pattern of choice. A hack squat, hip press, leg press, or pendulum are all great options. For the hamstrings, we need a hamstring curl variant, either seated or lying. Then you can pair this with a RDL, SLDL, or a hyperextension. If you want to take more of a maximalist approach and directly train your adductors and abductors, you can add in an adductor machine alongside an abductor machine or a hip thrust in order to directly train your glutes. And to finish off our legs, we can do a calf press or calf raise. Now for the split training variations, you can either do push-pull legs, rest, but I advise doing push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, rest. If you can only go to the gym 5 days, I advise doing push-pull legs, rest, upper lower, or push-pull legs, rest, anterior, posterior.